Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to share a special tutorial on drafting and sewing a corset bust specifically for plus sizes. We'll cover everything from how to take accurate measurements, drafting the patterns, and sewing it to get a perfect fit. So whether you're a beginner or an experienced designer, this step-by-step guide will help you to create a custom corset bust. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future tutorials. So without further ado, let's get started. Hold me close till I get up. I'm making this corset for my mom and she'll be our lovely model today. Let's get started by taking our measurements. So first thing, you'll be needing the half length measurements. This is from the shoulder to the waistline. So next thing, be taking the shoulder to nipple measurement and then the shoulder to under bust, okay? I'll also be taking a across shoulder, and then from that point I'll be taking around armhole. Ensure that it is not too tight. Then next I'll be taking a round bust measurement. So our bust measurement is 43 inches, and then on that half length I'll be taking the round waist measurement, okay? Then you're also going to measure the under bust. You need to measure the roundness of the under bust, and next I'll be taking a nipple to nipple measurement and the bust width, so which is from the middle part of her bra. If she's wearing a bra, you need to measure the middle part to the end of the bra, okay? Sorry, not if she's wearing. The person you're making the corset for ought to be wearing a bra, okay? And the next thing, I'll be taking the neck depth, which is where the corset is going to sit on. So she doesn't want it too open, so I'm just going to stop at 7 inches. So guys, once you have all your measurements taken, we'll move on to the drafting of the pattern. I'll show you how to create a custom pattern based on the measurements that we just took. So guys, first of all, I went ahead to rule out all the measurements that I took on my pattern paper. I measured 19.5 as the half length, the nipple point of 11.5, and under bust of 15.5. So the half length for the front is 19.5 inches, like I've said before. So I'll be making use of 2.5 inch for the bust dart. For a plus size, you use 2.5 inches or 3 inches. So that 2.5 inches will be removed from my front half length to get my back half length. So I went ahead to take half of my shoulder and I came down by 1 inch. And then from that 1 inch point for my shoulder slant, I marked 8.5 inches, which is now my arm side length. So guys, for the neck, I made use of 3.5 inches for the neck width and 4 inches for the neck depth. So this is like a standard neckline for plus size, except you're working with a different neck style line. So next, I'll be taking the nipple to nipple measurements of 8 inches divided by 2. So I'll go ahead to mark that 4 inches from the bust point and to the half length, okay? And then I'll be using my straight ruler to connect it. Then I'll be dividing what I have on my shoulder into 2, and then I'll mark a point there, then connect using my straight ruler from that point to my bust point that I've already marked. So next, I'll be taking the underbust tightening. So on the center front, as you see me pointing, I'll be marking 1 inch. Then on the side part, I'll be taking 1.5 inch. I'll also mark the same thing for the half length, 1 inch on the center front and 1.5 inch on the side part. So I'll go ahead to use my straight ruler to connect them. So then afterwards, I'll be using my curved ruler to connect for my bust points to the dart leg on both sides. So guys, after getting the underbust dart, the next thing I'll be doing is to take the dart for the oval bust. So the neckline I measured for my mom is 7 inches, okay? So I went ahead now to mark that 7 inches, and then I'll rule a straight line on that point. So I'll just rule a line there with my pen, and you're going to extend the line to the armhole part, okay? So then on the center front, I'll be taking 1 inch, and the side part I'll also be marking 1.5 inch. So you're going to connect that using your curve driller to your bust point. So guys, like I said, this is for a bust 43. Just go ahead to adjust the measurements as the bust size increases. Let's say you're making the corset for a bust 50, you can go ahead to increase the measurements as the bust size increases, okay? Just like I said before. So on the center front, I'll be coming down by 1.5 inch, okay? And then I'll just go ahead to mark half inch there. So you're just going to extend that half inch line to your bust point, okay? So that's going to serve as the gap on your corset, on the middle part of your corset. So guys, after doing that, you connect the top parts from that gap to the first dart leg, which is going to serve as your sweetheart neckline, okay? And then on the bottom part, you'll be connecting from the gap as well to your underbust using your curved driller, just as you see. So you're going to measure what you have from your nipple point to the middle part of your corset, and you're going to bring it to the side part. So I have 4 inches on that middle part. So I went ahead to bring it to the side part, and then you also be adding 1.5 inch. So this is because the side part of your bust is usually fuller. For a plus size, instead of using 1 inch, you're going to use 1.5 inch. So guys, as you can see, I'm using my curve driller to connect that point to my underbust. So the dart that I took on the overbust part is 2.5 inch in total. So I'm going ahead to replace the 2.5 inch on the armhole area. So guys, on the shoulder line, you're going to take half inch on both sides of the line, and you'll be connecting from your overbust parts to the half inch on both sides on your shoulder, just as you see me doing, okay? So after you've ruled the line, that is going to be the dart that you'll be cutting out on the top part to get your yoke, okay? So if you're not going to be making use of a yoke for this part, then you don't necessarily need to follow this, what I'm doing. So if you're making use of a yoke, then you're just going to extend the shoulder out and then replace the darts that you've taken on the shoulder line. So I took 1 inch, so I went ahead to replace it to the side part, okay? So then on that part of the arm side, you'll be coming in by half an inch. That part that you took 2.5 inch, you'll be coming in by half an inch. And then you're just going to connect using your arm curve driller. So guys, in case the explanation seems too fast and it's unable for you to grab, then just go ahead to watch what I'm doing. I'm sure you'll be able to understand. So I'm just going ahead to cancel that former armhole because we'll not be making use of that. So the new armhole is the part that will be cutting out. So I'll be connecting the side part of the cup to the armhole using my curved driller. So just watch and see the way I'm doing it. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to put in the body measurements. So on the bust area, I went ahead to mark quarter of the bust measurements, and then I'll replace the dart I have on that part. So I have 1 inch dart, I'll be replacing it on the side part, okay? Then on the waistline, which is the half length, I will take quarter of the waist measurements and replace the darts on the waistline. So I have 2.5 inch as my waistline dart, so I replaced 2.5 inch after my waist measurement. So guys, you can see the way the thing is slanted. So the thing is, I am not going to be snatching her waist. So she just wants it to fit her body size. She don't want it to be too tight on the waist, okay? But however yours look, if you want to snatch your waistline, then you can go ahead to do that. So on my bust point line on the side part, I came down by 2.5 inch, which is going to be my bust dart. So after taking the body measurement, I want to go ahead now to cut out my pattern and close down the bust dart, okay, to get my corset pattern out. So but before doing that, I'm just going ahead to cross check all my patterns to make sure that they fit the body measurements before I go ahead to cut. So I cut out the half length and the neckline, and then I want to go ahead to open up the dart on the shoulder first to be able to close the bust dart like I said before. So guys, after closing the bust that, you can see the side part of the cup is now different. Okay, so that's the reason why I made use of pen to draw the line. So we're going to go ahead now to redraw the line. Okay, first of all, you just need to measure it to ensure that it is giving the same measurements. Like I said before, what you have on the center front, you're going to replace it on the side part and add 1.5 inches. So that is what I'm going to do now. Or you can just take the width, the bust width measurement of 10 inches. So I'll go ahead now to use my marker to redraw the line to make it visible. So guys, you're also going to be correcting the side. So sometimes after closing the bust that, the side measurement tends to look different. So I went ahead to redraw the line back again. So before I go ahead to cut out my pattern, I want to first of all measure the cup size to make sure that they are equal. So I'm just going to measure from the nipple point to the top of the cup on both sides to make sure that they are the same measurement. So for the center front, I have 4.5 inches and the side part I have 5 inches. So I'm just going ahead to take out the half inch to make sure that they are equal. You can see the way I withdrew it. So just make sure that you measure the both side of your cup to make sure that they are equal before you go ahead to cut it. So now I can go ahead now to cut out my pattern and close the yoke part in case you want to fix a yoke on your dress. So to cut out the pattern, I will just go ahead to blend that space I have on the top of the cup and then cut out the pattern. I'll be keeping the yoke aside for now. So guys, remember to close your bust dart before you cut. Okay, so I went ahead to use my paper tape to just close it down to keep it on hold. Let me take you back to a time when love was as precious as diamond. So guys, after cutting out the pattern for the corset, now let's work on the yoke part. So the darts that we have on the yoke part, we're just going to place it on top of each other any which way. So after doing that, I'll be using my paper tape to secure it. And then for the neck part, you're just going to come down by 2 centimeter or quarter of half of an inch. I don't know how to mention it, okay? You're just going to come down a little and then connect it to your shoulder slant to get a straight line. So then after you're done with that, you're going to remeasure your shoulder again. So I used 3.5 inch for my neck width, right? So I removed 3.5 inch to get my remaining shoulder. So after you measure that, you're going to trim off the excess. So guys, I'll just explain again. Remember, I took out 3.5 inch as the width of the neckline, and then I have 8 inch as the person's shoulder. So I'm going to stop at my 8 inch there and reconnect my armhole again. So guys, I hope you understand. So after doing this, you're going to trim off the shoulder and then the armhole. So this is your yoke part. So if there's any part you don't quite understand, just go ahead to rewatch the video again and I'm sure you'll be able to get it. So I'm just going to place the front part of the pattern and show you after fixing the cup, your yoke part is just going to sit well on it like so. So guys, if you're making a whole yoke like this, then you're just going to work with this pattern. But for this particular tutorial, I want to make it a Queen Anne yoke neckline. So I came in by 4 inches from my center front and I'm just going ahead to slant it to the top of my shoulder line. So I will cut out that part and that is going to serve as my Queen Anne yoke neckline. So seeing that the yoke pattern is looking so rough, I'll go ahead now to cut it on a separate pattern paper, okay? So that it will look neat at least. So guys, this is everything for the front pattern. Remember to notch and label all your patterns and then when you're cutting on your fabric, also remember to add your sewing allowance, okay? So guys, for the back pattern, I went ahead to take my half length. Like I said before, I'm taking out the bust dart from the original half length of the front, okay? So making my back half length to now be 17 inches. Then I went ahead to take half of my shoulder line and then my neck width of 3.5 inches and neck depth of 1.5 inch. Then for my arm side length, I use 8.5 inches. Okay, so after doing this, the next we'll be doing now is to take the darts. So the darts for the back is still the nipple to nipple measurement of 8 inches. So divided by 2 is giving me 4 inches, okay? So I'll mark that 4 inches on my chest line and also on my half length line. And then I'll connect the both points together using my straight ruler. For the half length, I'll use 0.75 on both sides for my dart and then connect to my chest line as shown. So guys, after doing this, you'll be taking your bust measurements on your chest line, and then for the half length, you'll be taking the round waist measurement, and I'll also be replacing the dart of 1.5 inch. So now I'll go ahead to connect the both points together. So the cutting of the back pattern is just as simple. So the back pattern is going to have a zipper. But if you want it to have a lacing bag, then you can just go ahead to take out the opening for the lacing, do your yoke styling, whatever you want to do, it is depending on you, okay? So for this back pattern, I'll be adding a zipper. So when cutting on my fabric, I'll be adding the zipper allowance and also the sewing allowance to the side part.
Where if you search you will find it. I know that times have changed, but I don't wanna play no
So now that we have our
games,
pattern
baby. I'll treat
pieces,
you
it's time to
different,
cut
you
on the
know that.
fabric. So I'm using a George fabric for this sewing project, and starting with the back pattern, I placed on my fabric and then I added 1.5 inch for zipper allowance and half inch seam allowance on all the other sides except for the side part that I used 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. Then I also went ahead to share open the dart parts. Also, I added interfacing to the main fabric and I cut my lining the same way. Then for the front part, I used 1.5 inch for sewing allowance and half inch on all the other sides. So that is it for the drafting and the cutting process. In the next video, we'll move on to the sewing and assembling the corsets. So guys, if you find this particular tutorial helpful, please do well to hit the like button and subscribe, and also hit the notification bell to stay updated. Thanks for watching. See you in the next part.